Stop everything you're doing right now. What I'm about to reveal in the next few minutes could be the difference between you living an extraordinary life or forever regretting missed opportunities. Your brain is being bombarded right now with over 11 million bits of information per second, but you consciously process only about 40. This means that while you're watching this, millions of opportunities are passing by unnoticed around you. Neuroscience has proven something revolutionary. Every second that passes, the 86 billion neurons in your brain are forming new connections or destroying old ones. Time isn't just an abstract concept, it's literally reshaping your mind and your destiny every moment. But here's the brutal truth no one tells you. While you delay, procrastinate, and say, "I'll do it later," your brain is being programmed for failure. Dopamine, the pleasure neurotransmitter, is being hijacked by the endless distractions of the modern world. Have you ever wondered why some people achieve everything they desire, while others remain stuck in an eternal cycle of, "I'll start tomorrow"? The answer lies in a fascinating discovery about neuroplasticity. There's a region in your brain called the prefrontal cortex. It's what determines whether you'll be a winner or just another face in the crowd. When you train this region through conscious time management, you literally rewire your brain for success. But let me tell you a story that will change your perspective forever. A story that will reveal the best-kept secret of humanity's greatest achievers. In a small village lost in time, there lived a young man whose brain had been overtaken by what neuroscientists call the procrastination circuit. His neurons had built neural highways that always led to delay, to escaping responsibilities. This young man didn't know it, but every time he said, "I'll do it later," he was strengthening the neural connections of mediocrity. His brain's reward system had been corrupted. He got more pleasure from avoiding tasks than completing them. His family watched helplessly as he wasted one of the universe's most valuable resources: time. They tried to warn him, but his brain had developed a defense mechanism that filtered all advice as threats. One day, something extraordinary happened. A man with decades of wisdom arrived in the village. This was no ordinary man. He had uncovered the secrets of temporal mastery through years of study and deliberate practice. The young man, feeling the weight of failure crushing his dreams, approached the wise man. "Master, I feel lost. Everyone around me prospers while I remain stagnant. How can I break these invisible chains that hold me back?" The wise man looked deeply into his eyes and said, "My young friend, your brain has been hijacked by the illusion that time is infinite. Let me show you a truth that will transform your reality." And then he began the most powerful narrative the young man had ever heard. Once upon a time, there was an extraordinary king, a leader who had learned to master not only territories but time itself. He knew that every well-used second exponentially multiplies the possibilities for success. This king met an old school friend who had become a slave to procrastination. The friend lived in constant frustration, always blaming external forces for his failures, unaware that he was being controlled by the same destructive neural patterns. Here's the first practical technique that will change your life. The 2-minute rule. Your brain is wired to avoid tasks that seem too big, but when you break any goal into actions that take just 2 minutes, you hack that defense system. Moved by compassion, the king offered his friend a unique opportunity. "Before the sun sets today, you can take all the treasures you can carry from my royal vault. It will all be yours." The friend was ecstatic. Finally, life was giving him a golden opportunity. But then something happened that reveals the destructive pattern that might also be sabotaging you right now. Second revolutionary technique: the neurological momentum protocol. When you complete a small task, your brain releases dopamine. This dopamine creates momentum that makes the next action easier to perform. That's how you build an unstoppable cascade of productivity. Instead of rushing to the treasure, the friend thought, "I have plenty of time. Let me first satisfy my hunger." He didn't realize he was activating the same neural circuit that always sabotaged him, the "I can do it later" circuit. After eating slowly, he felt sleepy. "A quick nap will give me more energy," he thought. Once again, his brain tricked him, prioritizing immediate comfort over future benefits. Third powerful technique: future regret visualization. Close your eyes now and imagine yourself 5 years from now. If you keep putting off your most important actions, what kind of life will you be living? What opportunities will you have missed? This technique activates your prefrontal cortex and creates emotional urgency. When he finally woke up, the sun was setting. Desperate, he ran toward the palace, but it was too late. The gates were closed. He had lost the opportunity of a lifetime, not due to bad luck, but because he didn't understand that time is the universe's most valuable resource. The young man from the village fell into absolute silence. For the first time, he saw the destructive pattern that governed his existence. In that moment, something clicked in his brain, what neuroscientists call an insight moment, when new neural connections form instantly. Fourth fundamental technique: the implementation intention method. Instead of saying, "I'll study more," say, "At 7 p.m. in my room, I'll study math for 25 minutes." Your brain needs specificity to create new automatic habits. The young man returned home completely transformed. He had understood that every wasted moment was a brick in the wall separating his current life from his dreams. He began applying what he had learned immediately. First change: he eliminated all unnecessary distractions. Studies show it takes an average of 23 minutes for the brain to regain focus after an interruption. He created a sacred environment for his most important activities. Fifth transformative technique: the single focus rule. Your brain can't multitask efficiently. That's a myth. When you dedicate 100% of your attention to a single task, you can increase your productivity by up to 500%. One task at a time with full intensity. The young man implemented the Pomodoro method. 25 minutes of intense focus followed by 5 minutes of rest. This technique works with the brain's natural rhythms, maximizing both concentration and recovery. He also discovered the power of nightly preparation. Before going to bed, he defined exactly what he would do the next day. This programs the subconscious during sleep, so you wake up already directed toward action. Sixth revolutionary technique: the first rule. Do the most important task of the day before checking messages, social media, or any other distractions. Your brain is at its peak energy and focus in the first hours after waking. The results started appearing quickly. His peers noticed the change. His teachers were impressed. His family began to respect him differently. He had unlocked his true potential through temporal mastery. Neuroscience teaches us that our brain is like a muscle. The more you exercise the temporal discipline muscle, the stronger it becomes. Every time you choose an important action over an easy distraction, you're building mental strength. Seventh powerful technique: the time log. For 1 week, write down exactly how you spend every hour. Awareness is the first step to transformation. You'll be shocked to discover where your time really goes. But here's the deeper truth. Time isn't just a resource. It's the material with which we build our dreams. Every conscious second is an opportunity to sculpt the masterpiece that is your life. Eighth fundamental technique: the Eisenhower matrix. Divide your tasks into 4 quadrants: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, neither urgent nor important. Focus 70% of your time on the important but not urgent quadrant. That's where real growth happens. The young man in the story discovered something few understand. Successful people don't have more time than you. They simply make different choices with the time they have. They treat every moment as an investment in their future. Ninth transformative technique: the rule of 3. Each day, identify just 3 things that, if completed, will make the day a success. Your brain works better with clarity and simplicity than with endless lists. He learned to say no to anything that didn't bring him closer to his goals. Every yes to one thing is a no to another. Extraordinary people protect their time like a sacred treasure. 10th revolutionary technique, the artificial deadline technique. Set shorter deadlines than the actual ones for your tasks. This creates healthy urgency and prevents last-minute procrastination that leads to stress and low-quality work. The young man's transformation didn't happen overnight, but it began the moment he decided to act. Neuroplasticity is real. You can literally rewire your brain through small, consistent actions. 11th technique, success visualization. Spend 5 minutes every morning vividly visualizing yourself completing your most important tasks. This activates the same neural circuits as actual action, preparing your brain for success. Years later, when people asked the young man the secret of his transformation, he always said, "I stopped living in an imaginary future and started building my real future, one present moment at a time." Here's a truth that will shock you. You've already spent enough time reading this script to have taken the first step toward your biggest goal. The difference between dreaming and achieving is simply starting now. 12th fundamental technique, the small habits method. Instead of trying radical changes, implement micro habits. Want to read more? Start with 1 page a day. Want to exercise? Do 5 push-ups. Small changes create big transformations. The human brain is a pattern-seeking machine. When you establish success rituals, you're programming your mind to automatically repeat winning behaviors. 13th powerful technique, Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. When you have an impulse to act toward a goal, you have just 5 seconds before your brain sabotages you. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move physically. The young man's story teaches us that every moment is a choice between mediocrity and excellence, between conformity and greatness, between regret and fulfillment. 14th revolutionary technique, batch processing. Group similar tasks and execute them in blocks. Answer all emails at once, make all calls together. This drastically reduces time lost in transitioning between different activities. Did you know the average person makes over 35,000 decisions a day? Each decision consumes mental energy. That's why successful people create automatic systems that eliminate unnecessary decisions. 15th transformative technique, the template rule. Create templates for recurring tasks, templates for emails, weekly planning, meetings. This frees up your mental energy for truly important decisions. Time is democratic. Everyone gets exactly 24 hours a day. But it's aristocratic in its outcomes. Only a few learn to turn those hours into extraordinary achievements. Here's a life-changing exercise. Calculate how many days you have left until you turn 80. Now subtract the days you've already lived. The remaining number is finite, real, and decreasing every second. Feel the weight of that reality. 16th fundamental technique, the morning momentum method. The first 60 minutes of your day determine the energy and focus of the next 16 hours. Create a morning routine that primes your brain for victory. Legend has it that if you can control your mornings, you can control your life. This isn't poetry. It's pure neuroscience. Your prefrontal cortex is at its peak capacity right after a good night's sleep. 17th powerful technique, the time mirror technique. Every night before bed, look in the mirror and ask, did I use my time today in a way that my future self will be proud of? This practice builds temporal self-awareness. The young man in our story understood something profound. Lost time never returns, but well-invested time multiplies infinitely. Every skill learned, every relationship nurtured, every goal achieved becomes a lifelong asset. 18th revolutionary technique, the automatic no rule. For every new request for your time, the default answer should be no. Only switch to yes if the activity aligns with your main goals. Protect your time like a warrior protects their territory. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary people isn't natural talent. It's the ability to use time intentionally and strategically. Think about this. While you've been watching this, several minutes have already passed. You can choose whether those minutes were an investment or a waste. The choice is always yours, every moment. 19th transformative technique, the SMART reward system. For every goal achieved on time, give yourself a specific reward. This trains your brain to associate temporal discipline with pleasure. Time is the only truly scarce resource in the universe. Money can be recovered, relationships can be rebuilt, health can be restored, but a lost moment is gone forever. 20th and final fundamental technique, the time legacy. Regularly ask yourself, how do I want to be remembered? What impact do I want to leave? This long-term perspective gives deep meaning to your daily time management. Now you have in your hands 20 neuroscience-proven techniques to master time and transform your life. But knowledge without action is just expensive entertainment. The young man from the village became a legend, not because he received special information, but because he decided to act immediately with what he learned. Your transformation begins the exact moment you close this video and implement the first technique. Not tomorrow, not on Monday, not when things calm down. Now. Time waits for no one. It doesn't negotiate, doesn't compromise, doesn't give second chances. But for those brave enough to respect and master it, it offers the greatest gift possible: a life. Without limits. Every second you hesitate, someone somewhere is using that same second to get closer to the dreams you both share. The difference is that they decided to start while you're still preparing to start. You have two options right now. Close this video and continue in the routine that brought you here, or make today the ground zero of your new reality. The day you decided to become the conscious architect of your own destiny. The kingdom of time is available to be conquered. The tools are in your hands. The map has been revealed. Now, the only question that matters is, will you have the courage to take the first step? Your extraordinary future is waiting on the other side of your next decision. And that decision needs to happen in the next 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start now. But wait, there are even more secrets that need to be revealed. Secrets known only to the masters of time. Truths that can accelerate your transformation from years to weeks. Neuroscience has uncovered something revolutionary about the human brain. There's a window of opportunity of just 66 days to form a chaksai, new habit automatically. This means you're only 2 months away from a completely transformed life. During these critical 66 days, your brain is literally rebuilding itself. Each repetition of a new behavior strengthens neural connections until the action becomes effortless, requiring no conscious willpower. The young man from the village discovered that the true secret wasn't just managing time, but becoming an architect of reality. Every well-used moment was like laying a brick in the construction of his personal empire. Here's the year 21st technique that will change everything. The energy first rule. Before managing time, manage your energy. Identify your peak energy hours and reserve them exclusively for your most important activities. Studies show that we try to manage time, but we live through energy. 1 hour of high energy is worth more than 3 hours of low energy. The young man learned to treat his energy as an even more precious resource than time. 20-second fundamental technique. The deep focus method. Create uninterrupted blocks of at least 90 minutes for deep work. This aligns with your brain's ultradian rhythms, enabling flow states that multiply your productivity. During these sacred periods, treat interruptions like emergencies, because they are. Every time you break deep focus, it takes an average of 23 minutes to return to that state. Protect these blocks like a treasure. The young man instituted the sanctuary ritual, a physical space dedicated solely to important work, free from any distractions. His brain began to associate that environment with maximum productivity. 23rd powerful technique. The law of compound momentum. Just as money grows with compound interest, small, consistent actions create exponential results. 1 page of reading per day equals 365 pages a year, more than an entire book. The power lies not in the grandeur of a single action, but in the consistency of small actions. The young man realized that giants are built step by step, brick by brick, moment by moment. 24th revolutionary technique. The weekly review system. Every Sunday, dedicate 30 minutes to reviewing the past week and planning the next. This creates a feedback loop that accelerates your growth exponentially. During this review, ask 3 powerful questions. What worked? What didn't work? What will I do differently next week? This conscious reflection turns experience into wisdom. The young man discovered that successful people aren't just disciplined in the present, they're strategic about the future. They think in weeks, months, and years, not just days. 25th transformative technique. The moving deadline technique. For large projects, create multiple milestones with shorter deadlines. This maintains momentum and prevents the procrastination that comes with distant goals. Each milestone achieved releases dopamine, creating a virtuous cycle of motivation and action. Your brain loves celebrating small, frequent wins more than a single, distant victory. Here's a brutal truth few understand. You already have enough time to achieve any goal you truly desire. The problem isn't a lack of time, it's a lack of clarity about your true priorities. 26th fundamental technique. The time value matrix. For each activity, calculate, what value does this bring me divided by the time invested? Focus only on activities with high value per hour invested. The young man began to see time as an investor sees money. Every hour had to generate a return. Every minute had to justify itself. This mindset completely transformed his daily choices. 27th powerful technique. The radical elimination protocol. List all your activities for a week. Then eliminate everything that doesn't directly contribute to your 3 main goals. Be ruthless. Your extraordinary life depends on it. Most people fail not because they do the wrong things, but because they do too many right things. The young man learned that saying no to good opportunities is the price of saying yes to extraordinary ones. 28th, revolutionary technique. The 10x rule. For every goal, ask yourself, how can I achieve this 10 times faster? This question forces your brain to think in entirely new ways, finding shortcuts you never considered. Sometimes the answer is eliminating 90% of unnecessary work. Other times it's finding mentors who've already walked the path. There's always a smarter way to do anything. The young man discovered that time is like a river. You can swim against the current and exhaust yourself, or learn to navigate intelligently and go further with less effort. 29th transformative technique. The personal automation system. Identify repetitive tasks and create systems to automate or delegate them. Every automated task frees up mental time for higher value activities. This includes everything from using automatic reminders to creating templates for recurring emails. The young man realized that the wealthy don't work more hours. They work smarter systems. 30th fundamental technique. The accelerated learning technique. Apply the 80-20 rule to learning. Identify the 20% of knowledge that generates 80% of the results in any area. Focus only on those critical elements. Instead of trying to master everything about a subject, master only the essentials that produce practical results. The young man learned more in 6 months using this technique than in years of traditional study. Here's a shocking fact. You spend approximately 5 years of your life waiting, in traffic, in lines, waiting for people. The young man turned these dead times into a mobile university through audiobooks and podcasts. 31st powerful technique. The recovery time rule. For every hour of intense work, schedule 15 minutes of real recovery. This isn't optional, it's strategic. Your brain needs these breaks to consolidate learning. During recovery, avoid digital stimuli. Walk, meditate, or simply breathe. These empty moments are when your brain processes and connects information, generating creative insights. 30-second revolutionary technique. The social accountability method. Publicly share your goals and deadlines. Positive social pressure multiplies your motivation and creates real consequences for procrastination. The young man created an accountability circle, people who regularly checked on his progress. Knowing he'd have to report back, turned his intentions into unbreakable commitments. 33rd transformative technique. The pre-preparation law. Every night, physically prepare everything you need for the next day. Clothes, materials, documents. This eliminates morning decisions and creates immediate momentum. Your brain has a limited decision-making capacity per day. Every decision eliminated in preparation is extra energy available for important choices during the productive day. The young man realized that discipline isn't willpower, it's intelligent environment design. When you organize your world for success, doing the right thing becomes easier than doing the wrong thing. 34th fundamental technique. The sacred time principle. Establish inviolable time slots for your most important activities. Treat these commitments to yourself with the same seriousness as you would a meeting with the president. Most people treat commitments to others as sacred, but commitments to themselves as suggestions. The young man reversed this logic, and his life transformed. 35th powerful technique. The future mirror technique. Regularly visualize yourself in vivid detail, 5 years in the future, as a result of using your time well today. This vision becomes the emotional fuel for tough decisions in the present. Brain imaging shows that when you visualize vividly, the same brain areas activate as if you were actually living the experience. You're literally training your brain for future success. Here's a revelation that might shock you. The average person wastes 21 hours a week on completely unproductive activities. That's over 1,000 hours a year, enough time to master any skill. 36th revolutionary technique. The constant opportunity cost rule. For every yes you give, ask yourself, what am I saying no to? This awareness transforms you into a relentless guardian of your time. The young man started calculating the real cost of every choice. An hour watching TV cost an hour of exercise, reading, or skill development. This simple math revolutionized his decisions. 37th transformative technique. The progressive reward system. Create a system where rewards increase as you maintain consistency. Day 1, small reward. Week 1, medium reward. Month 1, big reward. This works with your brain's neurochemistry, creating growing anticipation that strengthens new habits. The young man discovered that motivation comes after action, not before. 38th fundamental technique. The optimized environment law. Organize your physical space to facilitate desired behaviors and hinder undesired ones. Want to read more? Keep books visible and hide the TV remote. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. When you align your environment with your goals, success becomes inevitable rather than improbable. 39th powerful technique. The renewable energy technique. Identify activities that don't just avoid draining your energy, but actually restore it. For some, it's music. For others, it's nature, exercise, or deep conversation. Schedule these activities strategically to recharge your energy reserves. The young man realized that energy management is even more critical than time management. 40th and final revolutionary technique. The daily legacy rule. Every night before bed, write one sentence describing how you honored your future through your actions today. This practice creates an emotional connection between your present and future. Now you possess a complete arsenal of 40 science-backed techniques to master time and build an extraordinary life. But remember, applied knowledge is power. Unapplied knowledge is just entertainment. The young man from the village didn't become a legend because he knew these techniques. He became a legend because he lived them. Each day he chose to be the protagonist of his own transformation rather than a spectator of his own life. Time is ticking as you decide whether to apply or merely admire these strategies. The difference between dreamers and achievers is measured in action per minute, not knowledge per page. Your epic journey begins with a simple choice. Will you let another day pass without truly honoring your potential? Or does today mark the start of your personal golden era? The clock doesn't stop. Your opportunities don't wait. Your dreams don't manifest on their own. But you now have the complete map to turn time into achievements, moments into monuments, days into decades of fulfillment. The kingdom of extraordinary time lies before you. The keys are in your hands. The portal is open. The only question that matters now is, do you have the courage to step through and claim your destiny? Your future self is watching your next decisions. Don't let it down. Start now and become the person you've always known you could be.